Welcome back to another Overwatch Coach VOD review. So today we've got a submission through email. And they write, "Hey Coach, hope you're doing good. Here's a VOD I got. Hopefully this code appears because this was right around patch time, but it came up obviously. So the current rank is Gold 2 and the match range was Gold 3 to Gold 2. I'm a Zenyatta main that also plays some Ana and BAP. I was wondering if I should have stayed on Zen that whole game. As for the game itself, and yeah, I know I was late in round 1. I felt like I definitely had positioning issues and could have aimed better to get kills, but I sort of panicked at the end as it was getting close to overtime and wanted the payload delivered. My tank was asking for heals somewhat frequently. Close to the end. Do you think my uptime on Harmony and Discord was okay along with trance usage? All right, so yeah, let's get into it here a little bit. All right, so here is our Zenyatta, and just looking at the team comp, I could maybe see heals being a little bit of an issue, but the issue I think a little bit more is this DPS composition looks very questionable to me. It's still early to say who and what Venture is going to work best with, but I feel like Junkrat's not going to be one of them. Two projectile heroes tend not to go well together, especially when you're going up against a Widowmaker. Granted, this is a gold game, though, so, I mean, like, is this Widow really going to pop off? Like, odds of it, assuming they're a legit gold player, they probably won't, but, like, in a higher up game, I feel like this could be an issue. But as far as the Zenyatta goes, it doesn't look like it should be too bad. But I could see heals maybe being an issue, and if it is, then maybe a different support could go in line a little bit better. In terms of what support to play, I actually like playing Alari on defense on this map. I'll play her on attack too. I haven't done a VOD review on Alari yet. I need to find somebody who's looking to do an Alari VOD review. So if anybody watching has an Alari VOD that they want done, I'm open to VOD reviewing an Alari game because I haven't done that one yet. But Alari could be good here maybe. But I think Zen could be fine. Let's dig into the game though, and let's see what we got here. Okay, so like you said, yeah, you were late on round 1. So if you're gonna be late to the point or late to that first fight on defense, it might not be worth you going to high ground here. If the rest of your team is up on high ground, then that's one thing, but it's another thing to go to be late to the fight and then be even later because you're taking a high ground stance that nobody else is at is another thing, right? So like you're already down a guy, your healing orb isn't on anybody yet. Like you got to get to your team here, which okay, you're doing, but yeah. Careful not to get stuck. Healing orb should be on the tank. There you go. Oh. And the second I say that, your Moira goes down. Yeah, this is a lost fight. Some of that is because you were late. Some of it, I didn't obviously see how your Venture died, but that might have been an issue too on like where they were. Careful, you're standing in line of sight of Widow and you're not even shooting. You got the Discord orb on her, but you weren't shooting at her, so just be careful of that. Again, a higher up game, that would have been very punishable. You getting sniped by the Widow. So you gotta maybe kind of take a back seat, take cover behind the wall, charge up a round of shots, you know, charge your right clicks and maybe see if you can snipe the Widow. There you go, good kill. You had the healing orb on her, but I have a feeling this Venture player is not going to be very good. I mean, they're at least not off to a good start, let's put it that way. Might be a little too quick to judge, but... So the one thing I'll say here is you're not doing any right-click charge-ups. Take cover behind the wall, charge up a right-click, come around the wall, and let loose. How much of that you want to do is hard for me to say, considering you're not doing it at all. But try to get some value out of charging up some right-clicks and letting loose around the corner. I have a habit of maybe doing that too often. You're on the other end of the spectrum. You're not doing it at all. Find a happy medium there. So in this, good kill. In this case, get the healing orb on the Junkrat. Let the Moira heal your tank.
My soul ignited.
So again, healing orb on the Junkrat. He's not getting healed. It's going to be difficult for the Moira to heal them. Typically, when you're the Zenyatta, worry primarily about your DPS being healed, and let the main support, in this case the Moira, worry about the tank. Now, I'm not saying don't heal your tank ever, but I'm saying, like, priority 1, keep your DPS going. Priority 2, you know, if the tank's the only one taking damage, obviously heal the tank. But okay, so in this case, Junkrat self-healed. That's ult charge that you missed out on. That's weird for me to say in a VOD review too, because actually this is the first time that's come up in a VOD that I've reviewed, because that's new since I came back to VOD reviewing, the DPS being able to self-heal now. I wasn't VOD reviewing back when that change first went in.
Ladies and gentlemen, start your engines.
So again, only issue I take here is, like, you've got a constant stream of steady flow of orbs, so the enemy team knows to take cover because they see, like, they're all shooting out in the same general direction. Meanwhile, like, if you charged up shots, your flow of damage would be a little bit more inconsistent, and they might be more apt to poke. And when they poke, you might be able to catch them with your right-click charge and either take them out completely or take them down really low, and then maybe somebody else gets the finishing blow. That's just something, food for thought, to maybe change up a little bit of what you're doing here. Again, heal your DPS. In this case, it's Venture. Venture is not getting healed here. There you go. There's your first right click, but everybody's dead. So again, a little bit of awareness of where the DP or where your enemy team is going to be at. Like, if they all died, they're going to need some time to respawn. They're going to hopefully group up. Doesn't always happen, but hopefully they're going to group up. But the point I'm trying to make is they're all in spawn right now, and they're not going to just start coming out yet. So wait a little bit, because right now all you're doing is killing your accuracy. Maybe you don't care about your accuracy numbers. I'm on the other hand where I care to some extent. Obviously, I'm going to be throwing out some shots like what you're doing too, but I get a little bit more picky and choosy on how I'm doing it. So, like, here would have been a good opportunity to have had a right click charged up, and then as you're poking around, you could have dumped it off on that Bastion and laid waste to him. I mean, you probably wouldn't have killed him, but you probably would have took him down pretty low, and then maybe somebody else finishes him off. And your Moira also is low. Where is your Moira? Oh, there she is. That was dangerous. So, unfortunate that your Venture died. I don't know that you would have been able to prevent Venture from dying. However, I did notice she was next to you hurt, and you weren't taking the healing orb to her. But with that being said, that High Noon probably still kills her. I think the only thing that truly saves Venture there is Ramatra getting a shield up. So in this case, shoot on the inside wall. Looks like now you're doing that. if that shatter took more people down, that might have been a great time to trance, but it really only took your tank down. However, again, Moira's low, so heal your Moira here. Yeah, this is a good trance, I'd say. It's a little bit of a Hail Mary, but okay. Why I say that's a good trance is it was a Hail Mary for your Ramatra to do what he did there, and it ultimately didn't end up doing anything. But sometimes, especially if you're solo queuing, and especially at lower ranked games, sometimes committing and just having your team being on the same page will get things done that shouldn't get things done. And that's kind of an example of that. However, it didn't work out. But having your tanks back in a situation like that, I think can be beneficial, because then your tank won't get tilted and start raging at people. It'll keep him feeling like, okay, you had my back there. I tried to go in, it didn't work. I'll try to use my next ult better so you can use your trance better, is hopefully how this plays out. Doesn't always happen that way, but, you know. I will say one thing. Your Venture isn't getting healed, like, next to at all here. If I'm that Venture, I'm getting frustrated. But with that being said, I'm not sure your Venture knows what they're doing either, but it kind of goes back to having your teams back and all that, and, you know, as long as they're getting healed, then the responsibility kind of falls back on them. And I will say one thing, I don't think your Venture is being healed much. Hey, you do have the orb on the DPS right now, that's good. I'm not really sure why your tank went Maga here. Maga seems like a bad choice. Good kill. Okay, that Rhine's feeding. He hopefully... Oh, your Venture backed off. And Kiriko ulted, so... That Rhine looked like he could have died for a little bit, but it didn't happen. You've got ult. Be in a position to use it. Yeah, the only issue I take there is I think you backed up a little too much, but you ultimately didn't really need to use your ult, but you didn't know that. Once you have your ult, just look to use it. Now, granted, in that case, you didn't need to, but the thing that worries me here is there's not a lot to trance on the enemy team. Maybe a Moira ult if the team is really low and suddenly Moira pops ult and you can kind of keep your team going through that. Aside from that, there's not much. Maybe if you don't get caught in the hammer down from Reinhardt, that might be one. But that's about it. So that's another reason why you might want to say Zen might not be the greatest of choices here. Not that you're necessarily playing bad. It's just, I don't know. We'll see what you get for your value on your next ultimate. So this here kind of goes back to, you know, knowing where your enemy is. Now, you could move up a little bit. I would, if I were you, I would look to move up to high ground where the Junkrat is. And then you can always pop down. So like somewhere up here where Junkrat is to back, excuse me, to back here. Yeah, exactly. Oh, and we got Sombra. Good, good kill. Yeah, somebody's low. That's Junkrat. And Moira's got you covered there. Trance. Ew. In a case like that, it might be worth just doing the trance so you don't die. Just because of where the cart is to the point. If you guys are like really trying to just hard hold it. The other reason is because there's just not a lot to be trancing here. So that might mean being a little bit more aggressive with trances if we're really gonna be like kind of sticking to the Zenyatta. If there was something on the enemy team to be looking at countering, I wouldn't have said that, but
Harmony follows you.
60 seconds remaining.
shooting at Farah is going to be difficult. I think your best bet for hitting Farah is some charged up right clicks. Yeah, right, like right there. See, just as I say it, you do it. And yep. Yep. That was good.
This ends now.
Oh god. Yeah, you got caught in a bad spot there.
10 seconds remaining.
I don't know that there was really too much you could have done there though. Just because you came off of the trance, you were sticking to your team, and then, you know, you just caught you on the flank.
Surrender to my will.
So one thing, you like to stay in this area, so if you're going to be staying in that area, you got to be a little bit more aware of what's coming over here. Because you almost got caught there in the same exact place in the same exact way, just happened to be a different hero over there. So keep a mindful eye of what's going on over here if you're going to be hanging out back here. Something I told somebody Avad not too long ago, you could play back here and use back here as cover and back here as cover. Had you have played back here, like say for example you did the trance and came back here, I still think the Sojourn probably still would have gotten you if they like hard committed to killing you probably. But that soldier, I'm not sure if he does too much to you, but it's just food for thought for different positioning.
Intention, many hands.
All right, good. Okay, so what changes on the team comp front where you've got Roadhog and everything else is the same? Okay, so in with him going Roadhog, I think that's gonna kind of help you out a bit. It takes a little pressure off of the supports. What you're going up against, Reaper, I'll be curious to see what the Alari does. So the DPS changed up completely. And the Alari is new. I think they were running Moira though, and obviously they had Reinhardt. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see what this Alari does on the enemy team. So, okay. When you charge up the right click, don't do it standing in line of sight of somebody. Do it behind cover, and then as you're about to let loose, come around the cover and then aim it at the Ashe or the Rhine shield or whatever you're going to shoot at. Because a better, higher up game, better DPS that you're shooting at, this guy over here, Ashe, would have punished you. I don't know if they would have killed you based off of the range of this, unless you just like ate a bunch of shots without reacting. But this, you got to be careful of that. The only thing I'll say here is just be a little bit more mindful of what you're shooting at. You're shooting at a lot of nothing. So just, you know, a few charged up right clicks might save some of your accuracy, might get you a little bit more value out of some of the shots you're throwing out there. But other than that, there's not a whole lot for you to be doing right here until your team moves in. But again, take cover a little bit more. You don't have a very strong front line. And for whatever reason, your Roadhog is struggling to stay up at the moment. Now, your DPS have been taking some damage and you've had the healing orb on them, but you gotta stay alive, so you dying there, you should not be you shouldn't be the first one dying, let's put it that way. That should not be happening, especially on Zenyatta.
Never easy.
The point is vulnerable. Let us take it. Watch it. Enemy turret ahead.
Yeah, they're shooting at you right now, and you're not doing anything to take cover here. Again, yeah, you're just standing here. Let's look at it from their perspective once.
I'm recharging. Don't be reckless.
There's you. You're just standing still, eating damage until you're dead. That's an easy kill for them.
Greetings. Unloading scrap.
You guys are trickling. Just back all the way out to spawn here. And wait for your team to respawn and get back together again. Okay, so this is why I say get back to spawn. You're at full ult charge, right? They're at, aside from the Ashe, who's at like what, 95%, everybody's at 100% health. So there's nothing for you to do here. There just isn't. Like, if you hit them, you're just feeding ult charge to their supports, but they have already got their ult charge too. But it's, at this point, it's just wait until your team respawns and then go in together. Because if you die, luckily you don't, but if you died, then that just further staggers your team. Just wait for everybody to come back, group up, go in. Like, if you needed ult charge, taking some careful shots around here might maybe be okay, but that's not the case. So, yeah, because see, like, the second you poke, you're getting hit. So you got to be careful there. So, in this case, you've got three options. You could look to trance and initiate the team fight. You could wait for Reaper to ult and then trance Reaper ult, or you could trance Alari ultimate if it doesn't get eaten by D.Va. And then obviously the thing with Moira and Rein that we talked about in the last round could also be a thing. Rein's gonna get a fat shatter if everybody stays clumped together. So that might be something to look at trancing to now that you're running D.Va and you were running Roadhog before that. So okay, so you chose to do it on the Reaper ult, but here's the thing. I wouldn't normally have an issue with that, but here's the thing. D.Va's defense matrix ate it. And I'm not really sure what he was trying to ult here. Let's take a look. What did this Reaper see? He saw the Moira. But he didn't take into account D.Va's right there. So, okay. In a blanket statement, yes, Zen Trance does counter Reaper ult, but you're running Defense Matrix Diva. She ate it. You didn't need to trance this. You could have held it. So this did kind of turn into a little... Yeah, see now... Wait, did she eat it? She ate it! Oh, your Diva's getting so much value here. I was gonna say maybe trance on the Illari ult, but yeah, your Diva ate that too. That's good for a gold Diva player. Yeah, careful, he baited you there, and for some reason it didn't work, but you should have died there. Yeah, get that orb on the Diva. Your Diva hadn't had that orb the whole time. Kill the healing pylon. Yeah, I don't know what happened to your aim right there. Your aim hasn't seemed noticeably bad other than you just kind of spamming at chokes where there's clearly nothing going on occasionally. But there, I don't know what happened to your aim, but careful on your aim there. Okay, good. You used melee kick, that's good. Ooh. Good charge on the right click. We want to see more of that.
30 seconds remaining.
Yeah.
Time is of the essence.
I'm on fire! What else is new?
Yeah, more of... Okay, more of that, but again, charge it up in a safer spot and then let loose through the door once it's charged up. You're charging in the door frame, so they see it coming.
You coming?
The only thing I could have really said to do differently here is back out of there while watching the door frame, and then that way if they push you, you can at least shoot at them. And then that way it's not just super wide open for them to kill you. Granted, it was Ryan, so you probably wouldn't have killed him and he probably wouldn't have been ducking and dodging your shots, but
The cycle begins anew.
might have helped build a little extra ult charge too.
Activating self-destruct sequence. Do something!
Watch it. Heading for the wall.
Good. You were landing headshots on Bob. That's good.
Frightening.
Good kill.
Us all to learn.
Surrender to my will.
I am accompanying the pain.
Oh, your Moira died. Orb on May, Orb on May, Orb on... There you go.
Your burdens. We must unblock the payload.
So, the one thing I'll say is, when they go Diva, Diva is a tank that is just a complete bullet sponge. They need a lot of healing resources coming their way. What I said earlier about like worrying more about healing DPS and then heal tank secondary as a Zenyatta kind of goes out the window when you have a Diva, because Diva just takes so much healing. The other thing I'll say too is Moira is not a great support to be playing with Diva most of the time unless the Diva stays with the team. But Diva should be diving a little bit more, and Moira's not good at healing dive. So in this case, you might want to be focusing more a little bit on keeping the orb on Diva and letting the Moira heal more of the DPS or who's more around you guys. Ideally, I'd like to see the Moira swap though, but... Who is your healing orb on? Your healing orb isn't on anybody right now, so that's not good. Granted, you're trancing now, but keep in mind, you went that whole fight not having a healing orb on anybody.
Enemy turret within my sight.
Okay, got everybody good again. See what I mean though about how Diva is just like a complete damage sponge? You just tranced, and she's already out of mech again. Like, that's crazy. It might honestly be time for either the D.Va to swap or for you to go onto a stronger healer if they're gonna stay on D.Va. Like, yeah, D.Va got a lot of value getting the first point, but they swapped off Reaper. They're still running the Rhine, so every time he does a hammer down, you guys are gonna get team wiped unless Mei does a save or something, or he just goofs it up. I don't know. I'm not seeing a lot of value anymore for Defense Matrix other than for Illari ult, but that already happened. So it's like, you kind of would like to see some kind of a counter swap going on here. Okay, that was a good kill.
My soul will ignite.
Who's the healing orb on? Healing orb isn't on anybody. Okay, now it's on D.Va. It just went on D.Va. Oh, you had a better shot on that Illari. You had it, and then you changed your mind.
30 seconds remaining.
Why? Oh boy. Why did you frontline?
Mission.
Stay behind the cart. This is fine, except for your choice of hero on who you shot at. But what you did there was fine. Now, you go back to the cart. That's what I would have done. But, stay behind the cart. The whole fight, you should be staying right here, but with the cart. Not frontlining like this. I don't know what you think you're gonna do here. If you had trance, that might change things, but I don't know what's going through your mind right here. You're like walking into Symmetra turrets, you're walking into a Reinhardt, you're completely frontline. I don't know what you're doing.
Pushing the payload. Where's my team? If we don't hurry, then I can ugly for us.
Careful, we're outnumbered.
It would be good to have gone Lucio here just to see if you could touch in time, but yeah, you couldn't. Yeah, I don't know. That decision that you did there might have honestly cost you the game. I'm not sure. I guess we'd have to go back and watch that fight, but it's too far back. Here, let's just take a bird's eye view of that fight. I'm betting viewers are going to be genuinely curious what happens here after you die. So let's just take a bird's eye view of like right here and just see what happens.
30 seconds.
Do something!
Boy, that Mei had good value in that ult too. Imagine if that Mei had healing, because she's taking damage from that Moira orb, and gets low from it. If you stay behind that cart, and you've got the healing orb on Mei, you've got the damage orb on the people frozen, or even on the Bob, because like, if you're playing behind the cart, you're going to be right here, trying to stay away from Bob. So that means the healing orb's on Mei. The Discord orb's either going to be here, here, or here. These guys all die hella quick because of the Discord orb bouncing around and with everybody being low. See, healing orb still would have been on Mei. And this whole fight would probably just be Moira now. That hammer down probably doesn't happen. And the Moira and the Rhine clean up.
Excavation initiation!
Yeah, that's... I'm not sure what went through your mind there, but that definitely, I feel like, cost you the game. So, all right, well, I guess here we got to clear that out. All right, number one's going to be positioning. I honestly thought your positioning for the majority of the game wasn't too bad. I think we called out a spot here and there, but genuinely speaking, it wasn't too bad. But right at the end, no, that cost you the game. Two, trans timing. There should be an E there, shouldn't there? The one that comes to mind for you from number two would be when your tank went diva on the first point of attack and they countered the Reaper, but you still tranced. You're not taking into account diva counters the Reaper ult, and she was right there to eat it. So keep things like that in mind. Otherwise, what you were doing was correct, but diva was there to eat it, so you could have used it better there. And then three, heal orb. We called it out periodically throughout, but keep the heal orb moving around a little bit. And then number four, cover. Take cover more. We called that out as we saw it. And then last but not least, it's supposed to be a 5. Right click. Do a little bit more right clicking and take cover while you're doing it. So hopefully this was helpful. Thank you for the submittal. I'll catch you guys on the next one.